That's number one. And you can't go to just any wholesaler. You really
I know.
need to have a relationship because wholesalers can also take advantage of investors. Awesome. Yeah, we were waiting. We couldn't hear nothing. So I'm glad you were able to come back in.
I was traveling from Boca to Miami, so I stopped.
Oh, awesome.
So listen,
So,
I saw my questions. Yeah, what is it? What is that passion? Where's it come from? Besides your original humble beginnings that lights a fire up your ass. It's like I always say, I keep myself hungry every day because when you're hungry, you're passionate, you know? So at this stage in your game, where with all due respect, you don't have to, you could coast.
yeah.
What keeps that passion going? And it's not, and I know it's not just more for yourself, but more to share.
Yeah, what keeps me fired up is that I want to leave a legacy for my 100-year legacy. I want my great grandkids to continue doing what we have been able to create and not let it just all die
Sure.
because they've had enough money in the bank. For me, it's not about the money, it's about success of feeling accomplished. That's success for me. And I want to teach those generations that just because Bobby and I were able to create it because we had the fire. We knew that we had a daughter as soon as Bobby and I got together. 6 months later, Bobby and I got pregnant. I was only 19 years old and he was 23. So we knew that what our parents had struggled to be able to raise us, we didn't want that struggle. And we wanted to give them a better path, not life, a better path of being able to do things with more passion and easier than having to struggle and work for a person, right? So that's what keeps me uh, still wanting to wake up every day and hustle and create more. I'm still creating. Bobby and I are still, we haven't stopped. And I'm not going to stop until it's time that they take me down. But, I just want the generations, I really do want my legacy to be the passion and success that we created and that we never gave up, and it wasn't about money because like you said, right now Bobby and I could go to an island and live for the rest of our lives and do absolutely nothing and just enjoy what we have created. But that's not what I want. I want to be able to still give values to other and teach them that it's not about having that money in the bank. It's about, you know, showing others, giving to others. I love philanthropy. I love to help where I can and teach. For me, passionate is women to teach them how to create entrepreneurship in their life and that they could do it without no one else. And when you have a partner, it's great that you could have a partner that could help you and, hold hands together and be able to, take that path together. But if you don't, you could still do it.
Wow.
Well, love it.
So I can relate 100% because, well, like we were talking about earlier, our parents, right? I was saying, you were telling me about, come from a family of seven, and and you were the one that had this burning desire. Remember our parents' generation? They came to work and to provide not only a roof, like my dad would say. Yo te doy el techo, la comida hasta los 18. Después de eso, if you don't go to school, you're on your own. So at 18, I had a job, my apartment, and I was going to school. I was ready to go. So, it's a different mindset. And I think what one of the things like today, like, you know, a lot of things that I do, I mean, again, I don't want to take up too much time, because there's so much. A lot of things that I do is kind of in line with stuff that you guys have been doing. For example, I've already ran a not-for-profit in the Bronx, and I know my brother. My brother was murdered. So, he was only 21 when he was murdered, and he was a very well-known personal trainer. He's the guy that got Phil Michael Thomas and Don Johnson into shape for my guys. And he left. They said when he left, giving. So I'm all about giving, right? So I've done that, and I at my end game is to get back to that, because to be a philanthropist, you got to be able to afford it to do it right. Okay, I am part of different organizations. Um, just recently, I got off a board, which I was involved for 10 years. Voice Against Brain Cancer. We raised $15 million in a period of about 10 years. I used to produce it. My background is production. My family comes from the entertainment business. My mother in the restaurant. My dad used to run gambling halls in Washington Heights in Manhattan. But the core family, a lot of them came from entertainment. In Cuba, my aunt was a famous mambo dancer, and my uncles were the first Cubans to have a club back in the '60s. So I grew up around that. So it was a natural for me to start my 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 career, which was started in the jewelry business. I was a designer, to go into entertainment. So I've been producing live entertainment, live shows. I'm big on Cuban music. Matter of fact, I just started a podcast. We
Oh,
we just
wow.
did 3 episodes. 2 weeks ago, I'm going back on Monday, upstate New York. We created a studio inside a farmhouse. My godfather is one of the biggest collectors of Cuban music in the world. He's not even Cuban. He's a Jewish,
Oh,
American Jewish guy from the Bronx. So he had his collection sitting in boxes, over 10,000 pieces. So I said, "You'll be the biggest asshole if you don't share this with the world." Well, how do we do that? We're gonna create a podcast. So soon you're gonna see me in action. We'll be
oh, I
releasing that
love it.
yeah, about 2 weeks. So getting back to the purpose, I'm just giving you a little background on me, because I write every day that I share my messages with Bobby, with you, and to me, being an inspiration is the greatest inspiration. Exactly what you guys are doing. So as I'm diversifying certain things, um, one of the things that now has come into play is real estate, because my day job, as I call it, not that I mean, I work, like you guys, but COVID, I think COVID did a lot of good in many ways. Unfortunately, a lot of suffering came along with it. So what it did for me is, number one, I was able to protect my mom, and she never got sick. She passed away a year ago, but I protected her from COVID because I was with her 24/7. And when I was with her, I started, my mind started going. And I think that's about the time I met you guys. So um, down in South Florida, there's a big market for real estate, GC. A lot of construction, a lot of renovations. Every transaction requires something. So I opened up a GC company down here in South Florida, totally legit, licensed the whole nine. Not like, not like the majority of the other guys. And the bulk of my work is, I do a lot of remodels up and down Collins Ave, from South Beach to Hollywood, all the high rises. So now I have friends that are bankers, big into real estate. And everybody, money doesn't make money unless it's playing, right? You got to put it in play. It doesn't. You don't make money having money sitting in a bank account or underneath your mattress. So I have some. So I've been approached by some people because they know me. So to look for opportunities, right? To look for depressed properties, fix them up, keep them, sell them, whatever. We haven't got into those details. We're in the first stage, right? So I'm saying to myself, I can get into this game. And there's a reason why I keep on hearing this, and it's coming from you guys. So I'm saying to myself, yeah, I think I could play here. And it gives me not only diversification, but it also gives me opportunity to create jobs for something that I'm already doing, right? Because I got a team. I got three different teams, one up in Broward and two in Miami, and I could grow my business as I go along because I'll fix up my own shit, right? So I'm saying, hmm. So how do I do this? So my question to you is, how do I get started? How do I get what should that first, second, and third purchase be?
So,
Because
we really never done fix and flips, so that's gonna be a little hard
no, I'm not talking about flipping. I'm talking about buying and fixing,
and
buying the
holding.
brand. Yes, buying and
Oh,
I'm
okay.
I'm about. I'm not into the flips because
Okay.
what I find out in flips, with all due respect, is the people that do flips, they don't really give. They're just looking for the bottom line. They don't no le dan el cariño a la propiedad. Yo quiero
Yeah,
darle
no.
cariño a la propiedad and have that asset grow.
So, what I would tell you to do is number 1 is get together with a wholesaler that is gonna be able to bring you properties that are below market value,
I did
so
that
that
already.
when
Yeah,
you that's number 1, and you can't go to just any wholesaler. You really
I know.
need to have a relationship because wholesalers can also take advantage of investors. So, you
Yeah.
have to get together with a wholesaler that you know that is gonna be, you know, a strategic partner with you. So he's going to bring you all the deals that he knows that it's going to fit your box. You have to have core values. You need to know, how much money do you want to spend maximum on a property to purchase? How much money do you have for rehab? And how long do you want that rehab to take? Because remember, when you have these properties, they're not going to be ready. You're not going to be producing money for
No,
3 to 4, 6, 8 months, depending on the rehab. So you're going to be holding money, taking money out of your pocket for that amount of time before you start recouping that money. So all of those things you have to keep in mind. So when you go to create your core values, you need to put that in play. Then you find yourself 3 or 4 wholesalers that could be strategic partners with you that are going to be sending you deals that are below market and that that you could trust them on the value part. You grab those and then you go and you rent us the rent amount. The renting is really simple right now. We're in a market that it's all about rentals. So you can't even hold a rental, more than a week in the market, it's gone. And you're going to have 4 or 5 people wanting it. So the most important part here is knowing your core values, finding a strategic partner with you that's in wholesale, and you have the construction company so you know what to do, and then renting them out. I mean, that's super easy.
cool. Now I'm just having my conversation with the bank, with the banker. I have a friend of mine who actually owns a bank, and he made his money in uh, in real estate. He has 1,000 apartments, between Atlanta, Philadelphia, New Orleans, and Orlando. So, but he has a different game. He's done a lot of Section 8 stuff. So
Section 8's great though.
you know,
Section 8's it's an
he's
amazing market.
tied into government funding, and what he does is interesting, which I like, because a lot of people that are in Section 8 because they're going through a depressed situation, right? So you could be on Section 8 for the rest of your life.
I can't hear you for some reason. You're breaking out on me. Hello? Okay, there. I could hear you now. Yeah. And that's what I tell you, you need to know your core values, right? What are you doing this for? What's the amount of money you need? What is the time frame? Are you looking for cash flow properties? Are you looking for evaluation? Are you looking for an ROI that you know that you're going to send up this, property and in 3, 4, 5 years, you're going to, 10 times your money and you don't care about the cash flow. Bobby and I is all about cash flow from day one, you know? So, it's all about strategies. So, I mean, I would tell you, we're gonna be coming up with this, real estate mentoring group that's gonna have all of these details. It's gonna be called Upsiders. So, I would look. Cool. Awesome. Cool. I thank you. You didn't read the book, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that's what I would do for you right now is, know how much money you have to invest, know that you need to have a separate, cash flow account for your renovations because the purchase price, you need down payments and whatever. You need renovation money, and then once you rent them out, you'll have cash flow. But I would, do that strategy first, and then, you know, your strategic partners are gonna be very, very important. Yeah, and you should look up my blueprint. I have the multifamily blueprint program. And I could send you the link so that you can look it up because it has the 5 core values that you need in order to start investing in real estate. Now no. Right. Yes, 100%. Well, best of luck in your podcast. I look forward to listening to it because I love Cuban music. I love Cuban music, so I'm looking forward to it. I love it. I love it. Send me the link. I would love to listen to you. Best of luck. Take care.